type of 85-year-old do you want to be? Go ahead, picture it. What activities fill your day? How healthy are you? What do you look like? I pose that question to a lot of audiences, and they always give me some standard answers like, I want to be active, I want to be healthy. And some people say, I just want to be above ground. And I always say, that's not a very high bar. And when you think about it, it's true, because who wants to live to a ripe old age if you have significant cognitive and physical ailments and your quality of life isn't great? When I worked in senior living, I spent 8 years surrounded by over 1,400 people with the average age of 85. And I noticed quite the gamut. There were 85-year-olds traveling the world and taking Zumba and just having exciting experiences. And there were 85-year-olds who could barely get out of bed, who had just significant problems. And of course, there are things that could befall any of us as we age that aren't our fault. But the good news is that up to 70% of how we age is determined by our lifestyle, things we have control over. So I asked that question about what type of 85-year-old you want to be, because it's your habits now that are going to best predict that. It's all these things we do in our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. So don't wait till later. Let's take charge right now. Let me tell you a story about my son, Jeff. Now, when Jeff was in high school and I would try to get on him for doing homework or completing any kind of project, he would say, Mom, that's future Jeff's problem. Pretty aggravating, right? Well, he did get by just fine because he was a smart kid. But when he got to college, things started stacking up and that wasn't going to cut it anymore. So he really did have to change some habits. So think about you. When you're younger, perhaps we can get by with having habits that aren't so great. But as we start aging a bit, things start catching up with us. We start feeling like, you know what, it's time to make some changes. So I want you to ask yourself, what type of 85-year-old do I want to be? And what am I going to start doing now that's going to get me there? To help you, I have a quiz. It's called the Wellness Wake Up Call Quiz. And if you take that and look at your results, it'll give you a little better idea about where you are now and what next steps might be right for you to be the best, healthiest 85-year-old you can be.